Welcome back, grade 4 and 5, to English Home Language. It's me, Miss Kruger, and today we are looking at punctuation. Yes. So before we start, if you want to get a piece of paper and a pen to take notes, you are more than welcome to do so. Great, let's start. So just to refresh your memory, punctuation, what is it? So punctuation is a set of marks that helps with reading. And as you can see here is a picture that shows different types of punctuation. There are many different types of punctuation marks, and here's just a list of a few of them. We're not going to look at all of them, but we will look at a majority of these listed here. So we get the full stop, the comma, semicolon, the colon, question mark, exclamation mark, ellipsis mark, quotation marks, a slash, round brackets or parentheses, and then you get square brackets. You're not going to look at underscore, but we will look at hyphen, and we're not going to look at the @ sign. Even though I know you all are very familiar with that, because we use the @ sign a lot in social media. Let's look at the full stop first. So the full stop is used at the end of a sentence. So just like a normal sentence, a statement. The sentence that I used as an example is, today is a very good day. And then it ends there with a full stop. Very easy, and I think we would all remember this, hopefully, from what we have learned thus far. Next is the question mark. So the question mark is used at the end of an interrogative. So now interrogative is when you ask someone a question. So if we refer to when a police officer is asking a victim questions to find out who is the suspect, that is called interrogation. So that is when questions are being asked. So a question mark is used at the end of an interrogative sentence to help form a question. So for example, where are my shoes? That's a question. You see there's a question mark. Where are my shoes? Next is the exclamation mark. So an exclamation mark is used to show shock or surprise, anger, or even a raised voice, at the end of a sentence. So when you are shouting something. So for example, look out! So there is an exclamation mark because I've raised my voice. And there I also want you to look out for something. So maybe there's dangerous things ahead, and therefore I will use the exclamation mark. Comma. Please look at the spelling of comma. It has two N's. If it had one N, it would be coma, and a coma is a completely different thing. It's not the same as the comma punctuation mark. So the comma is used to show pause in a sentence. So for example, there we were, comma. So that means take a slight pause, waiting at the bus stop. But a comma is not only just used to show pause in a sentence, it's also used to separate things in a list. So I used a grocery list as an example, and it says there, I need to buy bread, comma, milk, and toothpaste. Otherwise it will be, I need to buy bread, milk, and toothpaste. So what is bread, milk? So therefore the comma separates the bread and the milk because it's two separate things that I'm listing for me to buy. And there's just a picture to show you what the comma looks like. We all know, I'm sure we're all familiar with it. Next, quotation marks. Okay, there I just put blah, 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 because that means you are quoting something that has been said. Okay, I'll explain it a little bit in depth now. So quotation marks, it is used to show a direct quote. Direct quote means when someone has said something and you are taking exactly what they said and you are saying it again. So that is a quote. So we use quotation marks especially in direct speech. Okay. Example number 1. Here is a direct quote. I saw this yesterday when I made this PowerPoint, and I thought this is a really nice quote and it works well with what we are currently finding ourselves in. But unfortunately, I couldn't find the person who said this quote, so therefore I used the word anonymous. Okay, let's read the quote. No one ever injured their eyesight by looking at the bright side. And this was said by anonymous. So do you see there is quotation marks at the beginning? Then my sentence starts with a capital letter because this is still a sentence, therefore the full stop is within the quotation marks. Remember that always. Example number 2. Andile said, comma, quotation marks. It's the beginning of a sentence because we are now quoting what Andile said. I am feeling very good about my English. English, capital letter E, because English is a proper noun. Full stop, because it's a sentence. So the sentence, all the rules apply within the sentence. And the quotation marks comes after the full stop, or before the sentence starts. Okay, remember that. The apostrophe. So that was not on the list of the quotation marks that I read to you from the second slide. But I added it anyways because we use it a lot in English when we read, when we write in creative writing, etc. So apostrophe, is used in contractions. Now contractions means when you contract something, it is removed. So contractions means when a letter has been removed. So for example, we know do not. Do not forget to take out the trash can. But you don't always have to write do not. You can write it in a little bit more informal, don't. You see that there is an apostrophe because the O from not has been left out. It has been contracted. So now the apostrophe takes the place of the missing letter, the O from do not. So then it will be don't, apostrophe T, don't. Very easy. Now, apostrophe is used for contractions, but it is also used to show possession. So, for example, we need to invite both of Sally's, Sally, apostrophe S, the sisters to the party. Sally's sisters. That means the sisters belong to Sally. It's Sally's sisters. It's hers possession. Therefore, the apostrophe S. Moving on to the colon. Now, you get a colon, which is a punctuation mark, and you get a colon, which is within your body an organ. We are not looking at the organ. We are looking at the colon, the punctuation mark. It's spelled exactly the same though. The colon can be used to introduce an example, a list, an explanation, or a quotation. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat that again. The colon can be used to introduce an example, a list, an explanation, or a quotation. So for example 1, I'm going to show the first one, where the colon is used to introduce an example. There are 2 things you can do, colon, continue being upset or work harder. So those are the 2 examples of the 2 things you can do. Example 2. Now here it is the second one to introduce the colon, a list. I'm so sorry if you hear a dog barking in the background. It is my neighbor's dog. There we go. Okay, let's move on to example 2. There's only one person in the world who loves you the most. Colon, Jesus. Okay, and don't forget that. Even though I'm explaining to you the colon, I think that's very important for you to remember. Jesus loves you, and we will get through this. Now, we have the colon, then we have the semicolon. So the semicolon looks a little bit different than the colon. So it is used to create a longer pause than a comma, but a shorter pause than a full stop. So it's a comma full stop. Okay, so that is what the semicolon looks like. An example, my mother is a doctor. Semicolon, My father is an accountant. Okay, so it's just a little bit longer than a comma. Okay, and shorter than a full stop. So it's also to create pause. Moving on to the ellipsis. So I know in a lot of you like using the ellipsis when you write a creative essay and you end it in such a mysterious way, and you end it with ellipsis to show that you want the reader to think a little bit further, or you just want to, give something intriguing for me to look forward to when I read your next essay. So the ellipsis is used to create an intriguing, like I said, and mysterious atmosphere in the text. It is also used to show that some letters, or even words, have been left out, so maybe in a dialogue. So example 1. So, ... the ellipsis. What happened next? So that is intriguing, it's mysterious, like so. Anticipation, I want to know, what happened next? Great. Example 2. I baked the cookies a lot of times before, but, ellipsis, ... something tasted different this time. Maybe I swapped my sugar with salt. That would be very bad. Okay, so that is just to show when some words have been left out. Moving on to the hyphen. Now the hyphen looks very similar to the dash. Okay, it's essentially the same thing, but the hyphen is used differently than the dash, because the hyphen is used to create compound words. Semi, we know, is a word that can stand by itself. Semi, that means it is not full. It's half. And final is a word that can stand by itself. But semi-final is also a word, but we use the hyphen there to connect them. Now moving on to the dash. So the dash is used to show a connection between two things as well as a range of numbers or years, pages, etc. Example 1, Gauteng, then dash, Cape Town. So that will be read as Gauteng to Cape Town flights. Ooh, your teacher is going crazy. Gauteng to Cape Town flights takes about 2 hours. Okay, so that is a connection between Gauteng and Cape Town. Great. Example 2. For tomorrow's lesson, I need to read pages 45 to 78 of the textbook. Whew, it's a lot of pages, but I won't let you read that many pages. But you understand what I'm saying. So it is there to show a range of numbers. We use the dash a lot in mathematics and in history. So remember that. And then when I Googled a picture of Dash, the only picture that I could get was this picture of Dash from The Incredibles. If you haven't seen the movie, you can watch it. It is really cool. It's about superheroes, and I won't give away too much, but this character right here, his name is Dash because he's really fast. Then slash. So slash we don't use a lot, I would say, when you write essays, but it is sometimes used when you write instructions, recipes, and so forth. So you use the slash when you need to write a fraction, which we all know from maths, a measurement, or to suggest alternatives in your text. So example 1, for this recipe you will need half a cup of flour. Okay, so it should have been half a cup of flour, but I accidentally took out the 1. It should have been 1.5 cups of flour. Okay, but anyways, that is a fraction. Example 2, the car was going as fast as 120 kilometers per hour. So that is a measurement. And example 3, so this is alternatives. Alternatives means different. You need to press the on, slash, off button. On is different from off. Okay, so therefore we use the slash. Parentheses. Parentheses are the round brackets. So there are many different ways we use parentheses, but for this PowerPoint, I used the example that we use the most in English now in grade 4 and 5. So it is used to show additional information in a text, extra information. Example, my older brothers, aged 13 and 15, you can see they're placed in brackets because it's extra information. Just love playing soccer. Now here, there is a picture that shows you parentheses, the round brackets, and then just brackets. It's like the square ones. Okay, but we're not looking at the square brackets because it's not necessary for grade 4 and 5. Now we're just going to go through the punctuation rules